Elsewhere, the Inspector General of Police, Adejobi, has emphasized the need to remove the Nigeria police force from the envelope budgetary regime to allow for accurate funding projections. He explains that the adjustment will enable greater flexibility and ensure the availability of funds to manage the force more effectively. The IGP was speaking at the 2025 budget defense for the Nigeria Police Force before the Joint Committees on Police Affairs and Police Institutions at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja. IGP Adejobi, in a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, highlighted the need for the approval and creation of a special operations account dedicated solely to national security emergencies, as well as an increase in allocations for overhead and capital expenditure. He further proposed allocating funds for the construction of 5 new zonal headquarters, along with supporting tactical units critical to internal security. He also called for the approval of dedicated budget lines for police training institutions to enhance capacity building. Additionally, the IGP stressed that the prompt and full release of appropriated funds in 2025 would be essential for the smooth functioning of the entire force.
I respectfully request the support of the Senate and House Committees on Police Affairs and Institutions in the following areas. Advocate for removing the Nigeria Police Force from the envelope budgetary framework, allowing the force to present accurate funding requirements for effective planning and execution. Approve the creation of a special operations account to enable the force to swiftly respond to unanticipated security emergencies and support ongoing operations. Increase appropriations for both overhead and capital expenditures to enhance the force's operational efficiency. I respectfully request the support.
Now, the Force Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, joins me on the news at 7 for more on this. Mr. Adejobi, what is the import of this request by the IGP for the police force to be removed from the envelope budgetary regime? What is the modality for this adjustment?
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians. You know, the major challenge Nigeria police face is actually inadequate funding. This is not a new thing, it's a known thing in the news and everywhere that everybody knows that the police has not been adequately funded. And that's the premise on which the IGP made the request today before the 2 committees of the Senate and House of Representatives, that the Nigeria Police Force should have more fund to run its activities, its operations, that if we have, with the little we have, with inadequate funding we have, the Nigeria Police Force has made significant strides and, of course, achievements in its operations. It's a good thing because in the year 2024, we were unable to enjoy good budgetary. Yet, Nigeria Police Force made significant strides, arresting more than 30,000 suspects, rescued more than 1,600 kidnapped victims, and we avoided many kidnap attempts on various schools, campuses, universities that were not even in the news. So if we have been able to do more, if we adequate funding, and that's why the IGP highlighted some of the challenges related to funding and budgetary allocation of the Nigeria Police Force, particularly envelope budget.
We will work on that connection and return to Muyiwa Adejobi, who is the Force Public Relations Officer, for more on the challenges of the police force and their request even at the budget defense session. About the Nigeria Police Force, the Force Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, is back. Mr. Adejobi, earlier you were talking about some of the successes of the police, but talk to us about the challenges the police face, and do you think that this budget is capable of addressing them? Yes, Ms. Adejobi, I was asking about the challenges the police face and if you think that the 2025 budget as proposed is capable of addressing them.
Well, we're optimistic that with the presentation of the IGP today before the joint committees of the Senate and House of Reps, that we're going to have improvement. Like I was saying, the IGP made several demands today, particularly taking away place from the envelope budgetary regime, where we proposed 200 billion, for instance, and we'll be having like 50 billion naira. The IGP made it clear that this is not going to help us because if the place is adequately funded, we're going to do more. We're going to perform wonders because 2024 that we had inadequate funding, we were able to achieve a lot in many areas, rescued victims, foiled many kidnap attempts on schools and campuses that were not even in the news in the first instance. We were able to recover more than 1,700 arms and ammunition of various calibers, and 23,000 ammunition were recovered. So if we will do much in 2024 with this grossly inadequate funding, by the time we have better funding this year, we should be able to perform wonders. It's going to be as if manna has fallen from heaven. And the IGP made it again that made it clear that we should have separate operational accounts to attend to emergencies as a police institution in Nigeria. The IGP made several demands, and we hope that with this, the National Assembly will look into this major challenge on the Nigeria police force. IGP made special requests again concerning training and, of course, more manpower.
Yes, Mr. Adejobi.
We don't have enough manpower.
Yes, Mr. Adejobi, talking about those, requests that the IGP made, including a special operations account, construction of 5 new zonal police headquarters, among others. Are these already included in the document the President presented to the National Assembly, or are they fresh propositions?
No. The budgetary allocation is a different thing. But while implementing this budget, some of these problems were highlighted and identified. So the IGP was only trying to let them know that while we have made this proposal, while the 2025 budgetary allocation has captured some of these projects we want to do, they should not forget to take away the place from envelope budgetary regime, which of course is a very great problem. We have made our request known that Nigeria Police Force will need certain amount of money, and with envelope budget, we will not be able to get this money, and that's the truth. So the IGP made this passionate appeal today to the Joint Committee, the National Assembly, to look into this. And of course, we have captured all the projects we want to do, overhead, plus recurrent expenditures and what have you in the 2025 budgetary allocation proposal. So we hope that the National Assembly will give express approval to some of the demands made by the IGP so that we can have better funding in the year 2025. And we want to assure Nigerians that if this is done, the police will take or will attend its primacy in internal security mechanism of this country. We'll be able to do more. Just consider that 2024, 2023, 2025 that we didn't have enough. We did excellently well. So if you have more allocations 2025, we want to assure Nigerians and the whole world that the Nigeria Police Force is capable of providing adequate security to all citizens of this country and bequeathing Nigerians a more secure environment that will assist the federal government in having proper social integration, economic recovery, and development in all areas in this country.
I'm sure Nigerians can hear you and will be holding on you, by your word. Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi, thank you very much for your time on TVC News at 7.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Good evening.
Right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have more on TVC News at 7.